users to make your product usable. So first, we'll start with what is user research. So user research, as we all know, right, is you studying your target audience. And who are your target audience? Your target audience are the primary users of your application. So imagine if you're designing a food application. Your target audience are restaurants, are delivery personnel, and also day-to-day users, right? Because you might end up designing a product. If it's not usable, if you don't have a user for that product is going to die. This is why using anything you do, be it any, even in your, even as a designer, right? It's very important, like you pay close attention to user research. It's very, very, very important that you put your users. So now, right, most times designers, we most times misplace priority, right? So for instance, there's this application I've always wanted to build, maybe something that has to do with teleportation. Let me use teleportation, right? So I've always wanted to build it. So I'll go ahead and design the interface and everything, right? Without doing my user research. If I bring out a teleportation app now in Nigeria and I give it to you, in as much as, oh, you want to see what this application is all about, you won't want to use it because you might not be the target audience. So for a teleportation application, who are my target audience? My target audience are travelers, people that like traveling, people that don't like staying long, in like don't like traveling using road or air. There are people that have phobia for traveling, right? So you can hear people say, oh, I just wish I can close my eyes and be in this certain place at this certain time, right? Those are your target users. Just imagine if I built it without considering them. They might sit and be like, oh, this thing doesn't answer. Because as a user, there's something your user, there's one pain point, one problem your user wants you to solve for them. So that's the importance of user research, right? Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys still hear me? Let me be sure I'm not talking to myself. Okay, good. So it's very important that you put your users to mind, right? When doing your user research. So how do you conduct your user research? So as we all know it today, right? Just like the way all of us went to, some of us are still in university, right? Some are out of school. So remember when you're doing your project, right? And you give your project supervisor your topic, you won't just come and go and start typing, oh, typing chapter one, chapter two, chapter three. After typing it and you maybe without doing your research and you give it to your lecturer to do, ask what is this thing you're bringing here, what's this nonsense? And then you start all over again. Because in anything you're going to do, be it your day-to-day activity, be it any application you're building, research is very important. So let's imagine that WhatsApp we use today didn't do research. If you remember, when WhatsApp came out, we didn't have anything like status, we didn't have anything like sending voice notes. Yes, I can remember. We didn't have anything like sending voice notes. We didn't have anything like I think you can remind me. Um there's so many other things we didn't have, right? That we have now, even on status now, for you to like send voice recording to somebody and send it to them. We didn't have all those things. So what we did was we used user research. We used user research
Sorry, is it just me or can someone else hear Chidinma? Because currently I can't hear her. Let's give her some time. I think she's having network issues. I think she's having network issues. Let's give her some time, please.
So guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I don't know. MTN has been very shitty today. So I don't know if I'm the only one experiencing this stuff since today. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Right. Oh, thank God. Sorry about that. So where did we stop before I start sharing my screen? Because I was talking. I didn't know that I was kicked
I
out
think you
already.
were still trying to talk about how to start a research. Yeah, you were talking about how to start a user research. You were giving the analogy with school projects. So yeah, that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, you were talking about WhatsApp and its numerous features, how it was just starting out and all of that. Baba, Okada. Hey, make I fit find back reach house to do. Okada
Okay,
shout.
okay. Thank
Huh?
you. So
Hey,
thank you so much, Prosper. Yeah, I can hear you.
no
So
don't
guys,
be angry,
first,
don't be angry.
can you see my screen now, please?
Yes, yes, I see
So
it.
as I said, I was using WhatsApp as okay, I've said a lot. So I didn't even know that I was kicked out of the call. But let me go on. So I'll say that first, right? There are different methods to how you do your research. So WhatsApp would not come and start coming to you because I know that Figma they select you some users, right? I've heard people say, why using Figma? They saw like a form like link telling them, okay, please can you take this survey for us? Yeah, it can be that WhatsApp had done that with some users. I don't know, right? But there are different ways, different application carry out their research, right? So one, there are different methods you should use. One first is to suit your research purpose. How do you do that? When we say suit your research purpose, first you draft out you ask yourself, who are you designing for? Because it's very, very important for you to know who you're designing for. So today we know we have Jumia, right? If you're in Enugu State, you know we have Ogugo. They are both, two of them are both delivery service, right? But they perform two different things. When in Enugu, when you talk about Ogugo, what comes to your head is, oh, you want to order food from different restaurants, right? On Jumia, we have Jumia food, we have Jumia where you want to order different things. If you notice, these two applications have their own users. On Google users would be users that don't like cooking, because in Enugu we have more of civil servants, right? And now Enugu is now like coming up with a tech space where we have more of tech bros and tech sis who will never, maybe when they're working from morning to night, they won't even have time to prep something to eat, right? So most times, Google did their research to know, oh, that maybe when Google started safe, a lot of people have told them that, oh, this is the east. How you sure that people will be coming here? But they did their research and they found out that, oh, that we have tech guys here in Enugu, they're in school and maybe they have just graduated. So let's do this and see. They started, right? They started design, they did their research, viewed the application, pushed it out, right? Viewed an application. Funny enough, I just found out that months ago that they have an application, but I've never used it, because most times when I want to order from Google, I use WhatsApp, because to me, I feel that's what works for me. Okay, I can just go to WhatsApp and tell you, okay, I want this, this is my delivery address, make my payment and get my food, right? So different users have different things that work for them. So I've even spoken with some friends and they tell me, oh, they've used a Google app, they've used the app to order for food, right? So there are two different users in this application. So when I say it's very important that you suit your research purpose, who are you designing for? Who do you want to solve this problem for, right? They can be very tricky, because when setting up your questions, and it's very important that during your research, right, you ask questions that are clear and concise. When I mean clear and concise, don't go and start asking, have you used, because most times, most people make this mistake. We say, have you used a food application app before? And you make the question compulsory. What if I've not used any food application before? Just like I said, I normally order or not Google through WhatsApp, right? So I've never used the application. So when you ask me, um, have you used a food application before, and you're making it compulsory, like making the question a required question in your survey, I can't answer that. I might just look at it, if it's required question, I might just give you anything. That way you're getting false data, right? Or most times users self will just be like, oh, I don't have time for that. I start cracking my head and just leave, right? So when you're asking questions, it's better you calm down and draft out good questions that your users can answer to and that can give you the data you're looking for, right? So now we're going to look at types of user research. So in terms of user research, we have qualitative and quantitative. When we talk about, can you guys still hear me? Prosper, please unmute if you can still hear me. Oh my God.
Yes, I can still hear you. I'm on bike, please.
Okay. So we have two types of research, right? We have qualitative and quantitative. When we say qualitative, right, we are talking about, this is the interview that this is the type of user research that helps you understand your users' behavior, how they behave to a particular application, right? So Now, let me make people understand this very, very, very well. When we say qualitative, we're talking about behavior and how they act using a particular thing. When we say quantitative, we're talking about data, how to collect data from your users. Do you guys understand? Don't worry, I'll answer questions. I'll answer a lot of questions because this is very broad. So I want to take my time to make sure that you guys understand this. Let me take, for instance, now, um, I want to design for Jumia, right? Then I call Prosper. I give Prosper, okay, Prosper, okay, let me see how you use Jumia. Just order something from Jumia. Let me see how you use it. Why Prosper is doing it from the time he's creating an account, signing up, to when he's looking for an item, to when he's adding to cart and checking out, right? I watch the way he interacts using that application, right? Can you guys hear me?
Relax, she's having
Can you hear
network
me? I want to be
issues.
sure you guys can hear me. Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, good. So I'll work with that. So I was giving an illustration, right, using Prosper, right? Saying, okay, I'll give him an application, I'll give him Jumia to see how he interacts using Jumia. So I'll look at why he's using it, right? Under this type of qualitative research, under it you can find usability testing, how your user interacts using a particular application, right? And when doing this, right, you monitor your user and see how they interact with the application. Look at their attitude. Don't worry, I'll explain that very soon. We'll come to that. Look at the way they interact using their thing. So if Prosper had like a difficulty creating an account, that's a problem, right? You note it down. Oh, okay, this user found it very hard, okay, to use Jumia's authentication
Let me see what's going on. If be patient with her, we are in Nigeria together. So I've tried to reach out to Chidinma to join back the session, and it's still difficult for her to join. I don't know why.
Can you guys hear me? Because I want to be sure you guys can hear me. So I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with MTN today, right? Is I just noticed that I've been talking and I was asking questions, and just for me to find out, kicked out of the call.
Okay, Chidinma, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, thank you very much. Please.
I'm back. Just give me a few minutes. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
So sorry, guys. This thing can happen to anybody. Your network can just fall your hand anyway. Okay. So where did you guys stop? So I can go back again to start over. Did you guys hear when I was giving an illustration using Prosper as a case study? Prosper, they can unmute their mic. I want it to be interactive before I share. Prosper, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, my mic was muted. I said, let anybody that wants to speak can just hands up so that mute.
Michael, you can unmute
Hello. Good evening.
Michael. So
Yeah, good evening, Chidinma. Can you hear me?
yes.
Hello, Chidinma. Can you hear me? Okay, if anyone can hear me, can you hear me? Is anybody hearing me? Can you hear me? Okay, great. So I think if Chidinma can hear me, you stopped at using Prosper, illustrating how he got into the Jumia app, trying to purchase, his experience working through it to purchase, and from registering into purchase,
I can't hear
selecting.
you, John. Michael, speak up.
Okay, okay. I said you were making an illustration while you told Prosper to purchase something using Jumia app, okay, and the experience in which he got into the app, registering, and even into selecting his item into the cart. The experience he went through that process. That's where you stopped. That's where I got you, and then you went offline.
Joe, are you still saying anything or you've still stopped talking? Because I can't hear you again.
I can
Chidima, did you get what he said?
hear you. Go on. I think you're also having the same problem. Gladys, can you anybody hear me now? So sorry about this. I'm so sorry. It's not something I can control. Gladys, if your network is working, please can you tell me the one you're using so I can use it, please? All right, good. So yeah, can you guys see my screen now? I want to be sure you guys can see it. So yeah, I was explaining how the approaches to user research is very important, right? Through attitude and behavior, how your the attitude your users show while using an application or your application or the behavior they put out, right? So you have to listen. Anything they say, it's if they say, that this button or this thing is not placed here, take note of it. Like every feedback your user is giving to you is very, very, very important. So also you guys have heard of Nelson Norman, right? They're very good. Like when you want to, I took a course with them, right, on user research. They are very, very good, but you have to have dollar to pay for it. But yeah, I'll be sharing some books after this class to help you to understand how user research work and help you build better products. So under user research, there are leverages to user research method, right? First is to discover what are you discovering when you want to build an application. So as I said earlier, it's important to build something that your users will use, not something that you and your village people will use. You get my point, right? It's very important to have a target user. Most times I tell fellow designers or young designers when designing, right? Exercise emotional intelligence. Remove yourself from your products because you're not the one using your products. You won't be the one downloading your products, right? You will have users use this your product. So first, what you want to do is determine what is relevant for your users. How do you do this? First is by carrying diary studies, right? As I said earlier, using Prosper as a case study with the Jumia app. Watch how they interact with a certain application and jot it down. Like when I mean study somebody, you're studying your user to know how they, that way to help you make smart decisions and create healthy solutions that your users would love, right? So let me go. So this diary studies is very, very important. It's all all of you, you're jotting this thing down because it's going to come in handy. Like if not now, even when you start working with big companies, because I know most of you will be working with big companies very soon. So if you know how, what most of these companies look out for when you talk about Google, Facebook, they look at people that can provide good, solid solutions to problems, right? Do you get? It's very, very important that you are able to solve a problem and come out with good solutions, right? Also, contextual inquiries. So when we say contextual inquiry, what are we talking about? So take for instance, I used Ogugu as a case study. Nobody, if you're in Lagos, if you're in Abuja, you don't know Ogugu. It's only people in Enugu. So if I'm doing my research for Ogugu, I won't go to Lagos and start telling people in Lagos to help me out with this application and know how they interact with it, because they don't know what I have. So in order for me to do that, I have to sit them down, start telling them what Google is all about, but that, which is going to eat lots of time. And at the end, the user will not still understand it. Maybe just because they want to give you audience, they'll just fill in anything. Remember what I said, it's very important that you get good and sustainable data from your user research. So what do I do in a case like Ogugu? I carry out a contextual inquiry here in Enugu. What I do is ask users because, oh, it's a popular brand people are very, 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 very conversant with, right? What I do is, okay, maybe now I want to know why are people not using their applications? Why WhatsApp? Why use another application when all Google have their own application, right? So what I do is I look for users in Enugu, ask them, okay, why don't you use this? Why did you use this instead of using this? And get my feedback, right? Hope this is clear. Hope this is clear. All right. Oh, Julia said I won't spoke about quantitative research. Uh, okay. Is Juliet and Gift on this? What of others? Can you guys hear me clearly, please? Oh God.
I can still hear you. I can hear you, Chidima. I can hear you very well.
Okay, it's not from my end. So
Yeah.
some people said that I didn't talk about quantitative. I thought I spoke about that. I think I've gone past that. Oh,
I
no,
think
I
the
haven't.
problem was when you were, yes, you had network issues then. So you were still talking about you were trying to differentiate between qualitative and quantitative, where you said qualitative was about how, like how the behavior, the quality, and then you were talking about quantitative being, yeah, I think
Okay.
that was where you skipped it, yeah.
Okay. So okay. Sorry guys, sorry about that. Oh, so sorry. So sorry. You have called my attention to it. And I just moved on as if I've spoken about it. So sorry. So let me explain that. I'll explain that in a jiffy. So quantitative has to do with you getting solid data. When I say solid data, quantitative has to do with number. Let me break it down like in a layman understanding. When we say qualitative, we're talking about how the user interacts using an application, right? When we talk quantitative, we're talking about how many number of users use this application. Do you understand? I want to be sure that, yes. So when we say quantitative, is how we carry out. I gave an illustration. I didn't even know you guys didn't even hear me. I gave an illustration saying, okay, for instance, I want to carry out a survey on how many teenagers are using Jumia or how many young adults are using Jumia, right? How do I go about it? So when filling, because most times what we use is Google Form. We all know what Google Form is, right? Please, I want this to be very interactive. You can comment on the comment section. So I'll be sure that, because I'm not sharing my screen, I want to explain this in the layman English that you guys will understand. So I want to know how many young adults are using Jumia. So what I do using my Google Form is one thing I do is asking how old are you. Under my Google Form, what I'm saying is how old are you? Maybe the first answer will be 18, 15 to 18, 18 to 20, 20 to 24, 25 to 30, right? So let me now show you how quantitative comes in. Now, let me say I've sent out this survey and everybody is done. Okay, everybody is done filling it, right? So how do I know young adults that are using Jumia, right? On Google Form, it helps you analyze data. When I say data, we're talking about pie charts, we're talking about numbers, right? We're talking about numbers. So let me say, okay, after my research, let me now find out how many young adults are using Jumia. And I'm seeing a pie chart telling me, oh, from 18 to 20 years old, 50% of them are using Jumia. 15 to 20, 10% are using Jumia. 25 to 30, 40% are using Jumia. Then 30 to 35, 10% are using Jumia. So do you guys get what I'm explaining? Please, I want to be sure I'm explaining this in a plain language. So that number, that 50% that I have in my pie chart, 10% I have, that's my quantitative, that's the data I'm looking for. That way I can use it to analyze my survey. You can get qualitative by maybe interviewing. Let me say now I want to interview Wango Blessing. Oh, I sit Wango Blessing and ask her, have you used Jumia before? She says yes. How often do you shop on Jumia? She tells me. While she's answering that, I'm looking at the way she's answering me, like her attitude. Thank you, Jesus. Her attitude using and behavior using maybe her talking about her experience, right? I'm jotting that down. That's qualitative. Then for quantitative, I'm sending out a survey. I'm asking users, like a lot of other users. Now I'm not seeing them, right? Let me say I'm sending out a Google form to all of you here, telling you guys, maybe on the Google form, you're asking how old are you, have you used Jumia and all of that. So from that Google form, that Google survey I'm sending out, right? That survey I'm sending out on the data analysis part, because don't worry, when you see how this thing works, you see them in pie charts, you see them in graphs, right? So while carrying out that research, when I want to collect my data, it might show me that 50% of the people in upskill, yes, like a questionnaire, have not used Jumia before. Why the other 50% have used Jumia before? Are you seeing that? Now I'm getting numbers and numbers. So tomorrow now, if I want to defend my research, I'll say, oh, for my research, 50% of the students, of the interns in upskill know how to use Jumia. Why the other 50% don't know how to use Jumia? Now I'm solving problem. Now I'm not asking those that have used it, what problem are you facing while using it? Those that have not used it, what's the problem? Why are you not using Jumia? Right? You see now, these two different users have different problems. Do you get? I will answer your question when I'm done. It's not loading. I paused it just to I paused it. I want to explain something to you guys before I start sharing, because I found out that I didn't explain what quantitative research was. Yeah. So just keep your questions. I'll answer them, right? So let me go on. So I was saying earlier, leverage how to leverage user research methods, right? I said one, discover. When I say discover, I mean determine what is relevant for your users, right? Whatever application you're building, as I said, you have a target audience. So under you discovering who your users are, you are carrying out a diary studies. When we say diary studies, you're recording the daily interaction with your user, how your user interacts with a particular application, right? Contextual inquiries is how users in a particular environment, how you interview suitable users in a particular environment and find out how they perform in a particular task, maybe using Jumia, okay, or Google. I use Google as a case study because people in Enugu are conversant with Google. So let me go to Lagos. Lagos, you guys have heard about child deck. I won't come to Enugu and start researching for child deck. Do you get? I won't come to Enugu and start researching for child deck when I know that child deck in Enugu don't have users. Only in Lagos. Do you understand? Okay. So next thing you do is to explore. See how you address your user needs. How do you do this? So how do you explore? You start by card sorting. When we say card sorting, you write out words. When I mean words, so for instance, I want to design for, let me keep using Jumia, yes, because everybody know what Jumia, everybody is using Jumia, so let me use Jumia. So let me say now, I found out from my user research that the checkout button or how the checkout form is or design is not user friendly, right? So on a card, I'll write out, when I mean card, I mean like sticky notes, right? I'll bring sticky notes. I'll write in the first one, design. These things, I'm thinking about these things from my head. Design, I'll write out design, no, create a user flow for the checkout process, right? Second one, another sticky note, right? I'm writing design for a product summary, right? A product description. Another one, I'm writing design a form where user can input data. Do you get? That way I organize how it's going to, okay, from this flow to this flow, this is how the user is going to move using cards to represent them, right? Then also I can use customer journey maps. Customer journey maps, you make this one now, right? You guys can do your research. As I said, I'm very approachable. When you're having like a blocker, you can always reach out to me. I will explain. When I say customer journey maps, so there are different stages, right? There's how a particular customer behaves, right? How you know how where they're having issues, their pitfalls, when they're excited. Do you get? So that way it helps you track your user needs. Now after you come, I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you an example of a customer journey map. So to be very easy. So you guys understand what I'm saying. So now the next thing you will do, because after creating your customer journey map, what you're doing, you're sketching your wireframes, right? This is a wireframe. This is how a wireframe looks like. Skeletal. Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see my screen? I'm showing you guys something very crucial. Please pay attention, please. So when I say test, After you've done CAD sorting, what you do is you create prototypes. When I mean prototypes, you create wireframes or low fidelity designs, right? And prototype them. You all know what low fidelity designs are and what wireframes are, right? I believe you do. So once you create them, you prototype them, take them to your user and see how they interact using them. So this is where usability testing comes in, to make sure that your design is easy to use, because you don't want, after your research, you're not going to build something or design something that users cannot, maybe before they will click login button, instead of the login button to be at the bottom, is at the top. Do you get what I'm saying? I want to be sure, people. Don't worry, I'll answer questions. Also, you also, accessibility evaluation, when we say accessibility, we're not talking, because most times we designers here in Nigeria, we design for aesthetics, we design for users, forgetting that we have people like the blind, we have people that are physically challenged that use applications. You know that WhatsApp, people that are blind use WhatsApp. People that can't hear use WhatsApp. How did they interact with this application? That's because WhatsApp designed for accessibility and inclusivity. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Maybe most times people have seen maybe a blind, because I know maybe most people in UNM, because I schooled in UNM. So there's this set of blind people in school there, right? Whenever they use like big phones, and most times you see them pressing and maybe replying chats on that phone, and in your head you're asking, how are they doing this? They can't do that if WhatsApp didn't design for accessibility. So whenever you're designing or whenever you're carrying out your user research, don't forget those people. Do you get what I'm saying? But most times, Microsoft and Apple made it so easy that you can access their documents on how they design for accessibility. You can go through that, go through the document and see how they design for people with physical challenges, and also implement that in your own design. Do you get? I would love to see more of the designers from here design for people with physical challenges, right? Because most times when I see designs, people most times just forget them and just design for aesthetics and just design for other people to use, forgetting, oh, those people too are potential users too, right? Also, the next thing you should do is listen, put issues in perspective, uncover any new problem. The fact that you've designed those things doesn't mean that they are perfect. It could be after designing that thing, oh, one user will notice that, oh, this thing is not working for me. This other thing is not working for me. That way you track how your user feel and you carry your user along. So if you remember, there are 3 ways, 4 ways I said you can leverage your user research method. One is what? Discover. Determine what's relevant for your user. 2, explore. See how to address all your users' needs. 3 is test, right? After testing, test is evaluate your designs. Then the 4th one is listen. That's you listening to feedbacks, collecting constructive feedbacks, and working on them. Are you guys still with me? All right. So now, so however you approach user research, right? Just don't forget that they have their pros and cons. It's okay for you to do a research if you don't have the data you're looking for. Restructure your question, push out that research so you get what you're looking for. Because as I said earlier, you're not designing for yourself, you're designing for potential users. And also, as a designer, practice emotional intelligence. Remove yourself from whatever product you're building, because you're not building that product for yourself. You're building that product you're designing those products for potential users that will use your products and continue using your products, right? So there are several ways, in as much as CAD sorting is cheap, because most people don't use CAD sorting. People use different, there are several methods to user research. There's CAD sorting, there is design sprints, right? Design sprint is the one you carry out maybe in less than, depending on how your team wants to carry it, right? Can be a week, it can be 5 days. Another 5 days, they are pushing out awesome designs, but there are steps to these things, right? Also, we have a lot of methods, right? So you can work with a stakeholder now that will tell you, oh, I want a you cannot use food application. I need a fitness application ready in one month. And you're asking yourself, how am I going to do the research? There are several ways for you to do this research. There are several methods for you to conduct your research. As I said, there's card sorting, there's customer journey map, there's design sprints, there is there's this other one. There is user flows. There's a whole lot of different ways for you to conduct your research and get good data. Thank you. So now I'll be accepting questions. So I'm done. So you can keep me now with your question. Are you guys still with me? Okay, so now ask your questions or okay, what are the appropriate steps? First, as I said, know who you're designing for or who you're building for, right? Once, Frank, I'm answering your question. Once you know who you're designing for, first thing to do is look for those your target audience. Your target audience might be me, might be Prosper, might be anybody, right? Meet them. Look for a similar app to that thing you want to build. Watch how they interact using that, right? Once they're done using that particular um, um, application, now you're carrying out your qualitative research, right? Once you look at how they behave using that particular application and the attitude using that particular application, don't forget to jot jot these things down, right? I know I've promised you guys a lot of slides, but I'm going to send that out. I've been so busy. I'm going to just tell your coordinator to always remind me, please, so I can send it out to you guys. So Frank, as I was saying, so once you're done doing that qualitative research, know that those 5 to 10 people are not the only people going to use your application, what you're building for. What you should do next now is now to conduct a survey. Write out questions that would give you the data you're looking for. As I said, concise and clear questions that would give you the data you're looking for. Send out the survey out. You can post it on Facebook, you can post it on LinkedIn, because potential users for that your application might be anywhere around the world, right? So send out that survey. Once you're done filling it, look at the data you've gotten. Because on the survey part, when you start your research, you understand what I'm saying. Once you're done collecting your data, right, and you close your form, there's a place where you can see the data, like the analysis, your data analysis for the research you've done. So what you do is analyze those data. Okay, maybe for the fitness app you're doing, maybe some of the users are more concerned about getting a meal plan and a keto plan. The other ones are concerned about, oh, I want to be working out every day. Can I like have intensive trainers? Do you get? So this thing will help you to know, those research will help you to know the features you're going to put in your designs, right? I hope that answers your question. I think Chinwe Mary has a question. You can type, oh, please just type so my network will not play a fast one with me, please. So I said I was going to, no more questions. Please, if you have a question, please talk, please. Are they user research? Are user questions different? No. Maybe most times they might be, because sometimes when I'm carrying out a user interview, right? When I'm getting feedback from a user, when asking them some things, I find that my eyes are open to other questions I want to ask them, right? So while doing that, I'm also drafting out questions that I've gotten, maybe relevant questions I've gotten from my user interview. I'll input it in my user research question. Do you understand? Yes, after the survey comes the personnel. Yes, yes. ENA, I hope I answered your question. So that way you to help you keep track and be sure that user personas are your dummy users, like something representing your users, right? Do you understand? Gloria, conduct survey and send on what site? I don't understand your question. No, you're not to do 40 personas. So as I said, you know who your target audience are. So let me take for instance, impression. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now, please? Yeah. So I was answering Samuel. So I'm saying I was going to use now. Let me take oh. So all Google wants to make research and no application, right? Oh my god. Someone, I want to be sure you're listening to me because I want to answer your question. Oh my god. Okay.
Chidima, are you still there?
Hmm? Can you hear me?
Are you still... Yes, I can hear you.
Like a lot of questions. I don't even know which one I'm actually answering again.
Okay, so I'll help you. Don't worry. Let's start. Have you given them a task?
No. I'm not giving them a task yet.
Okay, someone asks, how does a user research relate? Please, can you relate between user research and user persona? This is persona, not personal. Please, the person, Shadrach, is persona, not personal. So let me answer this one, please. So like Chidima, you'll be scrolling and you'll be finding other questions too. So
Okay.
so for user research, user persona is what you come up with after your user research. They are related. In fact, it is supposed to be one thing. As you are doing your user research, you are getting your data and everything. The end, one of the last things you write in your user research is your user personas. You get. But then the reason why it was splitted in this curriculum is so that we don't choke everything for you. That is it. If not, they are closely related. And remember, the tags for user persona says that when you do your user research. So can you see the relation? I think some people that came to class yesterday got the response to this question very well. So please, yeah. So you do not first, sorry, Sandra, you first do your user research before you create your personas. So you first of all create your user research before you do your personas.
Okay. So oh my god. So I think this thing now is confusing everybody. As Prosper said, can you guys hear me? User research is the research you conduct to find out your user's pain points and how to profile solutions to it, right? So when I get my feedback from my users, I create user personas, like fictional characters of those my users, to pinpoint their pain points and solutions to their pain points. Do you understand?
So somebody is asking, how do you determine which research method do you use? I just saw
And I
this
said,
question now.
yeah. I thought I answered it. I said there is the one that most people use, right? The one that's been working is qualitative and quantitative. That's the one we know. That's by interviewing your users and seeing how they interact to certain applications, right? And how to improve their applications, right? And quantitative is the one we send out surveys and get data, like sustainable data out of it. Pain point, not pinpoint. Pain point. Yes. Thank you.
So another person is asking, how many user personas do you create? Yesterday, your tutor said it that when you are done with your research, you will find out you have users with similar and different pain points or different opinions. You now group them. The ones you can group together that are similar, you can create one persona out of the similar ones. And the different ones, you can create individual personas for them. There is really no limit, but as much as you can, if as much as you can, group as much as you can. That's the one thing you know. Some people just limit their user personas to 2. Some people limit their user personas to 3. Some people do as much as 4 in order for you to see different pain points of these users. So there is no one size fits all. Nobody is going to tell you you can only do 2 user personas. So that's it. You will not understand, Gladys, you will not understand yesterday's class without today's class. So it's normal. We know that is why we said that today's class was supposed to come up before yesterday's class. But due to the issues, and now thank God that you have understood today's class, and now it has opened your eyes to yesterday's class. So I knew that this is going to happen. That is until you will have today's class, then you can now understand yesterday's own. And that's why I've not sent the resources that she sent me yesterday for today. So when we are done with class today, I'll send you the resources for user personas, and you now go through it again and understand it. It's not the fault of the tutor, or it's not anybody's fault. Someone is asking, how do you, okay, the timing.
Another thing I want to add, to what Prosper is saying, right? Also, in as much as we're teaching you guys here, right, you can also go out on your own and also do your research, do like a proper research. So I'm going to send in something like a website, right? You guys can go try and get clarity, right? Because if you keep explaining this, people won't understand it until you go back and do your own research. So as a designer too, you need to know how to make proper research. I sent in something now.
So yeah, also somebody is asking, how do you determine the research method to use? You are the one that knows the data you want to get. At least, okay, let me say, for instance, let me try and explain it too, because I don't know. This thing is more, there's really no, you're the one that will have to practicalize it. Chidima or me cannot come and say, okay, let's do a user research and be using people. But it's what you hear that you now imagine it and work with it. Let me give an example. Okay, I want to know, if I want to know why all cars have why all cars have 4 tires, and I want to do a research on that thing, I'm not going to go and be doing, I'm not use quantitative research method, because I want to answer the why question and the how question. I would use qualitative research method. But when I want to find out answers on how many, that is where I use quantitative. When it's talking about numbers, when it's talking about percentages, all those things, that's when you use quantitative. If you want to know if you want to know why and how, you use qualitative. If I want to know why all pregnant women increase in size, I would obviously not go and be saying, I will not go and make a research, a questionnaire and be writing, do you increase in size? Do you do this thing? I would obviously, like, the questions I'll be asking is to know why. That's interviews. That's when I'll have to hold an interview over questionnaires. So because I want to know why mothers increase, I will pick interviews over questionnaires. Although sometimes people use questionnaires to run qualitative research, but your questions have to be as quality as possible. But you get what I'm saying? If I want to know why, the main thing is, what question are you asking? It now determines the method you are going to use. If you're asking a why and how, you use qualitative. If you're asking a question on how many, you use quantitative. It's easy as that. Samuel Wadike, you have a question. Unmute yourself and let's hear you.
Okay, hi. Can you hear me, Prosper?
Everybody can hear you too.
Okay, hi. Good evening. Okay, so I think I'm just going to speak for a lot of people because I'm even on the other WhatsApp group and I'm seeing people dropping comments and all. So I was just hoping, is there a way we could like just maybe an example, maybe a couple of examples, because people are like a little bit lost. Me, for example, I'm having kind of confusion in this card sorting part. You know, when we're talking about users and participants, and you know, I really wanted to understand who exactly are like, I don't know how to put it, like your audience at some particular points in time. And this whole research thing makes it look like, do we need to like step out and go and do these researches ourselves, especially when you're building like a new brand or something that people have never used before, like something fresh. So that's why I like dropped the question, like this the three questions I dropped in the group. So if you can like just explain, I think that would be very fine.
Okay, I'll explain parts and then Chidima, you handle. So if you're supposed to build a product, yes, you will step out. When it comes to research, it's not about I'm working remote again. Let me give you an example. When Genesis tried to build a product natally for pregnant women and nursing mothers and all of that, the product manager then, Osita, had to go around doing researches.
Can you hear me? Samuel.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi, Chidima, I can hear you.
Prosper is still talking. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Prosper is explaining something to you.
You actually interrupted me, so I had to stop. If you can hear me now, maybe you should go on.
No, Prosper, you're saying something about OCT. You're trying to explain something to him. Should I go on?
Okay, let me just complete and I'll let you go on. When I complete, I'll tell you. So Samuel, as I was saying, when that product was about to be developed, we had to do research with pregnant women, people that have given birth, these users, face-to-face interviews, and that is what it's about. So if it's so dear to you, you would have to leave that place and go and you will send questionnaires. There are times you have to send questionnaires depending on the questions you have. Your tutor said something. You will find out your users. You know the solution you want to solve. And the solution would obviously bring about questions. If you're a science student, you know the process of invention. They say, first of all, you see the problem, you make a hypothesis and whatever. So the solution you're profiling is obviously like a hypothesis. So your research is to validate that this solution you're profiling to these users is as valid as possible. Because you don't want to claim that, okay, the best thing that is going to happen to sliced bread is for us to start shaping it in 3 forms or triangle. And at the end, when you finish shaping sliced bread to triangle, nobody is going to eat it. So you have to research to make sure that, okay, with the moment you do this shaping of sliced bread into triangles, everybody is going to eat sliced bread and be happy. Do you understand the reason for this research? And the moment when you bring up that solution, it now brings about questions. Okay, why should we do it? What is the reason that is backing this solution? You now go ahead to ask questions, and when you are asking that question that you're asking now will now determine, okay, is this question will I get the right answers through qualitative, and will I get the right answers through quantitative? This is the things you also have to note down. Let's say, for instance, you want to know, okay, how many people even drive cars? How many people even eat bread if I'm going to build a solution that is going to make sliced bread the best thing triangle sliced bread, the best thing that has happened to the invention of bread? That one now, you're going to use a quantitative method, because you cannot go and be asking people, how do you eat sliced bread? And you expect that it's going to answer the question of how many. So when you draft out your questions, it also helps you. Chidima, you're laughing. Yes, now we have to give examples that are very relatable. When you bring out your questions, you have to now know, okay, And there's no harm in, you don't think that, so because they're saying there are two types, it doesn't mean that in product design you pick one. No. You can run qualitative and quantitative on one particular project because you have a lot of questions to validate. I used to say this thing. I said it on Saturday. I said it on Sunday. This is the main part of product design. It's not all those aesthetics that you're seeing and making animations and making bubbles out of cocktails. This is the main thing. You're solving problems and you have to answer questions. If I come to use a product that you built and I ask you why, okay, let me ask you, do you think that they just woke up one morning and thought that WhatsApp status was the best invention to put? No, now they had questions. They had questions to validate, and it was at that validation that they said, okay, go ahead. Let me give you an example again. When Twitter started their own stories, I've forgotten what they called that thing. I don't know what they called it then. But if you notice now, Twitter doesn't have it again. They did their user research. They felt like it was the best thing that happened to Twitter since after Elon Musk. And when they put it, what happened? People do not use it. If you check the process of that build now, you will find out that it is poor user research that warranted them to go and put something that people did not use. People just used it for like 1 week. They were bored, they were tired. And Twitter had to scrape it out. So you don't want to build a project that after 2 weeks, somebody will scrape it out.
It's gone. Yeah.
So please, if there's any question that I have not answered,
Okay.
raise it to the higher level, Chidema.
I'm
Chidema,
sorry,
please,
Prosper.
listen to his part.
Okay. Hello?
Go ahead, ask your other question.
Okay, so the other part, thank you very much, Prosper, for this explanation. Like, it actually makes so much sense. So the other part is this one I posted in the group, in the chat box for the card sorting part. So I don't know if maybe Chidima can just run through it, just so it's clear. Thank you.
Chidema, yeah, you have the mic. Handle card sorting for them, please. Samuel, raise down your hand too, so that I'll know that you have answered the question.
Okay, no problem.
So, Samuel, I don't know, Chidema seems to have network issues, and I wasn't paying candid attention to card sorting, and I don't think I can remember card sorting right now, so I cannot answer this your question. But if it lingers so much, I believe that this class, you would find it in the YouTube channel for Genesis Community. That's one. You can go over it again and still bring back your questions. Secondly, the slides would probably be shared to you if she releases it, because it's her intellectual property. So that's it. So Chidima is back. Chidinma, you're a co-host now. You can just go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay. Thank God. So sorry, my network happened again. So sorry. Gladys, sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. So someone were asking about the card sorting. So card sorting, as I said, it depends. It's not everybody that use it, right? The people that use card sorting, I would say people like Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, right? As I told you, they do survey, right? Maybe choose maybe some selected users, send them survey, and when they fill it out, what they do is, as the illustration Prosper gave, when Twitter brought about, there's this feature they brought about that it even last up to 1 week and they took it out, right? It could be through card sorting they got that. Okay, they said, okay, maybe some user said they will use this. Okay, let's put it and see how users interact with it. And they noticed, okay, after 1 week, after they've used it, people removed it. So imagine if WhatsApp, when they added that voice note and people just use it for 1 week, and after 1 week, people stop using it, they would have removed it. Do you think they don't keep track records of all this and see how people interact with all these features, right? So, but the fact that people are using it, they now see, oh, some, but maybe out of 100%, right? 70% of the users like the voice notes, because now everybody in Nigeria now newscasters on their status. Do you get? So everybody, we're all enjoying it. Nobody wants to type again. Do you get? So most times it depends. It depends. One thing in this thing is that it depends on your product manager. If your product manager says, oh, the reason why we're telling you about these different methods in user research is so you be conversant with it. So when you find yourself in a team, right, and your product manager says, oh, for this research, let's use card sorting, you won't go and start saying, oh, I don't know what card sorting is all about. Or let's use customer journey map for this, or experience map for this. You're saying you don't know what all these things are. So the reason for this class, right, is to introduce user research to you, tell you how it works, tell you, okay, how to leverage your user research, which I told you guys, discover, explore, test, and listen. As a designer, you should be a good listener. The fact that a feature works for you doesn't mean it will work for your users. As I said, you're not designing for yourself and your village people. You're designing for actual humans that would use your products, right? So you see why emotional intelligence is very good. So after this class, it's not for you to, okay, in as much as, that's what I'm saying, Gladys. That's what I'm saying. Card sorting is very broad. If we want to even stay now and discuss card sorting, we're going to sleep here. It's under UX, right? So it's now left for you or your own, Gladys, to do your research. If there are any blockers, you reach out to me, and I'll be able to put you through it, right? Yeah, that's it.
So let me even say something. So I'm seeing some questions here, and it's funny. See, okay, let me explain to you. Someone is part of Samuel's question is saying, is the user you mean the client who is paying you? So when, let's say for instance, let me tell you what this whole story of tech is like. Like, nobody's an individual person. And one thing you learn about tech as you're growing is that you will work more in teams than independently. Especially the more you know. The more you know, the more you find out that I suppose go work in team. It's not the more you gather more skills, back end, tech up, this one, you feel like you're independent. That's when you build rubbish. So a client gives you a product to build. There's a product manager. Sometimes there's no product manager. So you are the designer now, and you handle user research. First things first, let me tell you, user research can either be handled by the product manager or you deal with the designer. Most of the times it is a two-way thing. Product manager is handling his own, especially he's handling things that have to do with the business logic and business side. And you're handling user research based of in line with whatever the users are going to use with the applications interface,
Yes,
the user
putting in
journey,
mind the
and
user goals. Yes, you're
Yes, with
correct.
the user group and all those things. So you see what I'm telling you. So you as a designer will still do it. So when they say that the client is you now that wants to do research, are you going to go and meet somebody that gives you product to go and build, to go and say, okay, let me research on what you told me? Or even let me ask you now, okay, you now that wants to build something, if it's your personal project, are you going to go and give it to yourself and say, oh yeah, let me build this thing? Then you are not asking yourself, how many people eat sliced bread? How many people eat a shaped triangle? How many people, what is the meaning of triangle? Does it mean 666? Is it yourself you'll be asking the question? You actually pick users that fall in line with your target audience, with your target users. From the beginning of the class, we were talking about target users. You know that the target users for the triangle shaped bread is people who eat bread. You're not going to be doing research for triangle shaped sliced bread, and you are going to ask questions to people that eat rice. You're going to meet people that eat bread. Even if you go to meet people that eat rice, there is a different question you're going to ask them. And the reason why you're asking that question is to still validate, is to get data that validates a particular thing. There's no one size fits all to this thing. Research is something you do. Chidema, I remember when we did user research in Learnable. We I'm laughing over this thing because I know that it's a big thing and you will not understand it until you start building products. So you understand, or maybe when you do research and maybe you bring it to me for your tax and I'll just mark you 0. So there is something that as you're going, if you put your mind to research, it's just like your projects now. All of us know that some of us did nonsense projects. So the same way, if you go and do nonsense research, you know you did nonsense research. It's not something, so you don't need to lie to yourself. You know that you have unanswered questions everywhere. Get your target audience. The process of research is simple. There's a solution you want to bring out, right? You look at your solution. Who is this solution for? The answer to that question, who is this solution for, gives you your target audience. Then from that target audience, the next question you're going to ask is, what is their pain point? Is it not the empathy we are talking about? And from the empathy now, when you're asking their pain points, you have questions, the answers to those things. You get questions that sum up what you're going to even use as your research questions easily like that. So sometimes it's not looking at big grammar, it's thinking of it step by step. When we talk of empathy map, user experience journey, right? Abi experience map. What's that thing they call it, Chidema? I can't remember. All those things, when you read about them,
User stories.
thank you, user stories and all of those things, empathy map and all of these things, you have to just, if you
Storyboarding.
read
There's
about,
a lot of them. So
thank
it's
you,
just for you to
there is
just,
this one that they used to do that we did then, hey, that has 4 places. Is it experience map abi
that's
what?
customer journey map.
Thank you. Customer journey map that you use both emojis. If he is sad, if he is smiling, if he is neutral, if he's this, all these things are part of the research. And most of these things fall into you understanding your user. And all these things are answering questions. See, by the time you do, you don't need to do all of them. You just need to know what is important for you. What is the important data? Card sorting now is when you feel like you're trying to, let me give an example why I'll use card sorting. If I'm thinking of building a product and let's say I'm confused between like 2 ways or how these people will see this thing or how these people will see this thing, I can say, okay, let me just bring cards and scatter them and see how these people will be able to sort this thing and see that I can use the card sorting to understand, okay, these people would see this thing from this angle and get this thing at this angle. It's something like that. That is one way I can think of card sorting. So any methodology you're picking, you have to be very sure that whatever you get from there is tangible enough. And research abokwa, okay, there are Yoruba people and Hausa people here. Research is not just 10 people. I know in upskill now, maybe when they give people research, people will go and do 10 people, but it is not 10 people. Research is like 100 people. If your target audience for people that are eating bread, you know, first of all, if you go to the bakery, you see how many breads they are making in a day. So you already know that for you to validate questions on bread, you have a large audience to cover. So if you say, okay, you have a large audience to cover in bread eaters, you are in Enugu, or you're in Kogi, or you're in Zamfara, or you're in Kafanchan, you can start with, first of all, the local people in your area that are eating this bread. You can start with them. Those ones can fall into, you can reduce your target audience. So that it's not when they tell you go and do research for maybe shoemakers, you go and check the amount of people that wear shoe or the population of shoemakers in Nigeria, and you start sweating that there are 1 billion people, and you will now get tired of doing the research. You can start with, okay, there are 10,000 people doing shoe in Kogi. Okay, I cannot cover up for Kogi. I want to build my product and start maybe, it depends on what you are building. If you're building for all Kogi, you have to go and do for 10,000 people. But if you're building for, let's say, the local government that you are in, you know, you can start with the local government, the research, and move upward. So this thing is, you have to know it, understand it, continue reading, continue practicalizing. When you move to a team, it might not be the same way, but you know what, there is a standard. It might not be the same methodology that you use. That's maybe he might be asking for experience mark, because I think should be the people before us, they did not do that customer journey map, right? But in our own time, we had to do customer journey map, and to move like that. So it's not because it was when they remembered to do customer journey map or something. It's because maybe the product that you are building, you have done enough research that has validated your question. So you don't see any reason to answer the customer journey map question again. So that is it. So user research is deep, very, very deep. Someone is shouting UI UX is long ago. So this is psychology, part of a project. Understanding human. Thank you. That is it. Prosper. The reason I added the second question was because I don't think it's feasible to do CAD. You can do CAD sorting. You can do CAD sorting for
I think,
a lot of people.
I think we've answered everybody's question, right? And I've sent some link for you guys to go through, right?
Chidima, can you send these links to my DM instead of this place? Because at the end of this thing, to just go so that I can share it to the Discord channel. Yes, just send it to me on WhatsApp, then I can share it to the Discord channel.
I don't even know what the links are. I'm calling me, and I'll share them again.
We've spent almost 2 hours or 3 hours in user research.
Yeah, user research is very broad, so it's understandable.
Okay.
But don't worry, you guys should know this thing shouldn't scare you. Just like you knowing, okay, what works best for your users. If you have uneducated users, you can start by doing. Most times when I have uneducated users, what I do, instead of sending them survey that I know they will not understand, I go and have physical interview with these people. Do you get? Watch how they interact, watch their pain points. Do you get? So it depends, right? So it's something that all of you can do. Just don't worry with time. This is the fun fact about product design, because once you have this thing now is very, the reason why it's sounding like French is because people don't have like something people are working on. Just imagine if one of you want to build something around fintech. I already have your users. Maybe your users are people that live abroad, and you have a lot of people that live abroad, maybe your brother, your sister, your uncle, or maybe friends, right? You can give them the survey, tell them to help you share to their groups, right? They'll help you do that. You get your your survey, analyze this thing and make sure that the survey answers your question. As I said, once you push out a survey and it doesn't answer your question, look at your questions again, restructure it and send out your survey again, right? So you get what you're looking for. That way it helps you design usable products. Yes, you'll be given a tax.
Somebody wants to run from tax.
So
Oh, God.
for your tax this week, right? No, I can't skip tax. If I skip tax, you won't know what you're doing. It will help you like get a glimpse of what what you just did, right? And if you don't want to do it, it's fine. It's very fine. So are you guys still with me? Hope you guys are with your pen and paper. Prosper, please. Right, I will need this assignment on today is Monday, ba? On Sunday.
Yes. Okay, Sunday, right? No problem.
Yes.
I'll share their responses with you.
So list out types of user research methods and how to apply them. Did you get what I said? Can you guys hear me? List out types of user research methods and how to apply them. Now, the reason why I gave you these assignments, there are two things I'll be looking out for, right? I'll look out for designers that know how to, I don't say 5 types, so I say list out types. If you want to look for 13, 15, up to you, right? But please, I don't want to see anything 3, 5. That will show me that you're not good with research. Do your research, do like proper research. And also, I'll be looking at how you document because I'll be getting this assignment in a Google Doc. I want to see how you guys document because even as designers, it's also good that you guys know how to document. Documentation is very important. No, you're not preparing a slide for this. You're not preparing a slide for this. No, you can do it. 13, you can be 10, but not 5. I've not been giving you guys that. Why are you shouting Harvard? I've not been giving people have been enjoying. This is one assignment that I want everybody to take very. If you've not been taking anything serious before, take this very serious. Because anyway, it's not me I help. You're going to also help yourself. Why doing this research and why doing this assignment? Read as you're doing it. Understand these things. If you need clarity, you can always reach out to me. Yes, that's all. I said use Google Doc, use document. I said I'm paying attention. Please, you people should listen because pay attention because at the end of the day, when you're saying 3, 2, 1, because I'll be very, very strict scoring, right? Because this is to help you as a designer, not to help me, right? So why I said use Google Doc, by paying attention to how you document. Because after you're done learning design, right? Eventually you start designing for you start designing for big companies tomorrow. And as a designer, it's very important you know how to create documentation. So document properly, dot your I's. The T's are already crossed. So dot your I's, use legible fonts that I can see, explain. Don't go and do copy and paste for me. I will know. Do your research. Write out what you understand from the type of user research method and how to apply them. Thank you. Yes, I'll show your score. Your score will even be on the document. So someone's hand, okay.
Okay, thank you, Chidima. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, the class yesterday on user persona, we were meant to understand that the task of the class today will determine how we will do the task of that of yesterday. But now you are saying that we should do this task you're giving us now. I don't know how we can connect it to user persona now. So is there a way, is there something missing somewhere? Is there something you can explain to us?
No,
Thank you.
my task is I'm not telling you to design anything. Maybe for user persona, I don't know the assignment she gave you, right? But I know she might tell you to maybe design a user persona. That's different. Mine is do your research on
Chidima,
the
can you
types
hear
of
me?
user research method and how to apply them. As I said, don't do copy and paste for me. Read and understand, then explain them in your own words. Do you
Chidima, can you
understand?
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I think there was a disconnect somehow, Sha, and I'll take the blame too. So Francisca yesterday gave them a task. She said maybe in her head she was thinking that maybe the task of today was going to be they should go ahead and perform an actual user research, so that at the end of their user research they are coming up with user personas, which will be her work to score. So she already given them a task to create user personas from the user research they were going to do from today's task. So I don't know if you can give them a little solution, let's say solution question, or be whatever, that will push them to perform an actual user research in addition to this, so that they can handle it, so that they will also practicalize this user research thing. At least Chinenye Irebu can now finally understand what is being taught and every other person here.
Okay, you said from the assignment yesterday, Francisca told them to do a research and create user personas.
No, she said yes. She said they should create a user persona from the research that they will be given to do today. Yeah. So that's the way she puts it out.
From the research given to who? Sorry, I didn't get that.
A research given to them, like they were supposed to do a research, like your user research task. Maybe she was expecting it to be an actual research, so that they would, at the end of their user research, create a user persona that she was going to score.
All right.
Yeah.
So that means there'll be a question too.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Please give them a question too.
So
I'm a fan of.
I said 10 to 5. Gladys, you can do your research. Obviously, the facilitators are not here to spoon feed you. So if the class wasn't it, do your research. If there are questions, reach out to your mentors or reach out to facilitators. They'll answer you. Right? So I said 10 to 15. So I want to be very considerate, right? You can do 6. Do 6. Right? Can you guys hear me? Yes, I'm going to add it because it's very important. So it's for you to understand how user persona works. So it will clear your doubts. My people. What do I mean by 6? So I said do 10 to 15 types of user research methods. So now you're no longer giving me 10 to 15. You're giving me 6 types. Do you understand? All right. So for your user research, right? Which research now should I give you guys?
Maybe you can give them a problem statement. They should
Yeah,
provide
that's for
solution
me.
and then.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, see what happened. Can you come up with this problem statement and maybe revert back to me by tomorrow? You must not be on the spot in the class so that
Yes, yes,
you
yes. That's
can't
why.
analyze it.
That's what I wanted to even say too. So I would reach
Yeah.
out to. He's going to even send it to you guys tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, so you guys will know how to carry out the research.
Okay. So
Glad
I think we have come to the end of today's class. For Gladys Omenazo, we can settle our problems in the Discord channel. You've been in my DM before, and I didn't get you killed there, so you can always get back to the DM again, and we'll continue from where we stopped. So, thank you, Chidima, for such an awesome class. Like I've always said, there is nothing we are teaching in a day, and you feel like any tutor has even done justice to that topic. So for those that say that yesterday's class wasn't understandable, even if they give you 2 days to learn user research, if you do not do your own research on user research, you will still not know it. And if you do not perform an actual user research, you will still not get to understand your mistakes and learn better. Even when you were taught UI components and how introduction to Figma, the day they taught you introduction to Figma, I'm sure that if I ask you to do some things in Figma now, some of you don't know how to do auto layout. It's still part of what you were supposed to have researched and learned on your own. A lot of things cannot be covered within 2 hours. What we give you is basic and is enough for you to fly or run, depending on how you want. So take what you have been given. The slides for yesterday's class, I said I'm going to share it tomorrow. And I waited to share it because I needed Chidima to do the user research class. As she has done it now, if you read those slides, you will understand everything that Francisca was saying. And Francisca did justice to trying to even touch user research. I'm sure that if Francisca didn't even touch user research yesterday, I'm sure most of you even come to today's class and still complain that today's class wasn't all of it, because some of you have already heard qualitative and quantitative research methods from yesterday, and you now came today and you're understanding it. So please go ahead and do your own research. Go ahead and do your own research if you want to be the best product designer that has ever happened to the world. But if you want to become half-baked, just rely on on your own knowledge. So thank you, Chidema. We are waiting your
So
second
what time?
question.
What time do they submit the assignments on Sunday?
8 p.m. By 8
8
p.m.
p.m.
I'll
Please make
close
it
that.
11:59.
11:59 p.m. Okay,
Yes.
I like that drama. No problem. 11:59. So I'll be waiting at the door. 11:59. So communicate to the rest of your friends. I'll still drop it. So for those that will tell me
Chinenye
that,
has a question.
okay,
Chinenye
Chinenye,
Onyeka, you can go on. Ask your question.
Okay, thank you. Please, yesterday the user personal class, we were told to submit assignments by sharing a Figma link, and your own assignments.
It's
The first one you
documents.
said Google Docs, right?
Yes.
So I'm not asking how we're going to do it, because if her own is Figma link, I'm supposed to combine it together so that it will be easy for her to navigate
Okay.
using the
Let me
user research
explain.
information.
Let me explain. Right. So, are you listening? Chinenye, are you listening? So for mine, when you're doing the types of user research and how to apply them, right? You're submitting mine in a document form. That's Google Docs. Then for Francisca's own, right? I think people are overthinking this thing. So all I need to do is create a problem statement, give you. Maybe I say, okay, why are people, pregnant women, still going to the hospital when they can? Maybe some pregnant women, the problem is that, oh, they don't want to go to the hospital again. They want to stay from their home and do their antenatal instead of going to the hospital, right? Can you hear me? Instead of going to the hospital. So how do you solve that problem for them? So from your, when you carry out your research, you analyze your data. After analyzing your data, while analyzing your data, you realize that maybe out of 50 users or maybe 20 users you've gotten, 5 say they want the application. Some say, oh, this is their pain point, right? So let me say out of that, you categorize them into five different, maybe depending on how many they are, you just maybe this particular set of users have the same problem, this set of users have the same problem. So let me say out of them, maybe if you categorize them, finish like maybe into 6 or into 3, right? And 3 of them have different pain points, right? And how they want you to solve their pain points. You create your user personas. And also you can go, I don't know, this is not even hard. You can go on Figma communities, search for user personas, see how user personas designs are on Figma community, right? You bring it, collect this is very easy. It's just you that want to give yourself stress. Just
Okay,
bring,
Chidema.
you don't do that.
Yes, I think another thing I want to say, Chinenye, I know you're asking. Francisca said they should submit Figma link to them because she wants them to design the personas for her.
Okay.
If paraventure, what the research you're going to do, and I told them that hopefully the research question, when they do their research, they can handle the research documentation on Figma by designing it too, or maybe if it needs them to do if you're doing user journey, story mapping and all those things, you can do it on Figma now. So I don't think there is a big distance. So it depends on the methodology you're going to use in your research. And most of the times you will still use Figma. So Chidema's question is question 1 and 2. One requires Google Docs. So question 1 as a result, I'm expecting it in Google Docs. For question 2, that is a user research. Now, if Chidema says, okay, I need your user research data and everything in Google documents, no problem. You can still compile everything and put the link of the Google Doc in Figma. But if Chidema goes ahead to say, okay, let you do your user research solution on FigJam or Figma. Somebody saying FigJam or Figma, it's almost the same thing now. But this time, if someone says Figma, you know what you can do on Figma, you know what you can do on FigJam. We don't need to be, FigJam is just will I say, a feature of Figma. So when you are coming to do those cards and storyboard, you know it's obviously in FigJam you do all those ones. Or if you like, you can still do it in Figma. It's basically you and your business and what you want to do. So if Chidema's question 2 requires you to do it on Figma, do it on Figma. It is the same link you submit for Chidema's Figma question that you submit for Francisca, because it is inside that same place that you just do your user persona. Is this thing abroad? It's not very deep. Just wait for the instructions for question 2 and you will know how to go about it. It is very clear. Please. Any other question is I don't think there's any question again. Who else? Okay. I think there is no question again. Chidema, thank you very much. We can call it a day. Everybody, get ready for 11:59 Sunday. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye. Sleep well, yeah? Don't crack your head. It's going
Crack
to
your
be
head,
easy.
please. And if I know you already, people have taken me as the villain of this program, and I like it. Good night. I can't wait for the
Good
drama on
night.
Sunday, 11:59. I'll